Let's see if everybody comes through. Just wait a few minutes until everybody comes through. Craig, good morning. And how are you doing? There we go. I think everybody is going to come through shortly. We will see how it goes. Craig, can you hear me loud and clear? Awesome. Great stuff. I think what we'll do is just wait a few more minutes because it is pretty early by our count. So we'll see how it goes. And we'll take it from there. And we'll send Craig a nice little welcome message. There we go. There you go. Fantastic. Nice to see you again. Hopefully the UK is getting nice, warm and sunny. We'll see how the rest goes all the way through. I think we'll see how many other people come through. Okay. All right. Still quite early, I think. Craig, you were here a little bit early. So we'll see how many more people join in as this is live on 3 different streams on Facebook, live on Twitter, and also live on our stream on LinkedIn. So we'll be able to get to everybody, will be able to contact us coming through. Fantastic. Great. No rush for everybody else. Cell phones off, everything's good to go, and we will see how things all progress. There we go. Well, Craig, it's lovely for you to join. This is the Strategize first webinar. Virality isn't born, it's made. I thought this comes in quite handy with regards to small business owners around the world who are looking for a competitive edge to get to where they want to go through to the next level. And I certainly think that this will be of very good interest to your particular business, and hopefully you will be able to take a couple of nuggets back with you and start implementing them back in the United Kingdom. And may your business grow from strength to strength afterwards. All right, what is the time? I think the time is now 11:02. So what I'm going to do, Craig, I'm going to start. And once everybody starts to join, they can always catch up, and then we can always play the video back. So that isn't a problem. All right. Welcome to What It Takes to Create Virality. And this is especially for marketers marketing the products on a very tight budget, and come with the post-coronavirus pandemic and a whole lot of other aspects and issues that we've got in our global economy. This type of information will come quite key so that we are not held ransom to paid advertising to get our business advertised. So let's start without further ado. All right, just a quick reminder. In this presentation, I won't take up more than about 40 minutes. This will be recorded and played on everywhere else, and so you will be able to watch it at any given point in time later on. And please, if you have any questions, you can ask questions at any given point in time. The course content, what I'll be doing with everybody today is understanding the Virality framework, which is section 1, defining your big idea, which will be section 2, pulling the right levers, how to pull the right levers for your business is in section 3, injecting the elements of what we're learning today will be in section 4, and how to reevaluate your business idea in section 5. Just a little bit about me. My name is Dylan Miller. I am the owner and I work at Strategize. I'm a strategic marketing consultant down in South Africa. I've been in business in the sales and marketing business for about 24, 25 years. I studied electronic engineering, and before I studied marketing management. And I've worked for a lot of engineering type technical companies throughout my life before going and entering consulting. And that's just a little bit about me going forward. Now, on to the good stuff. So what I've done is some publications and contributions. I've contributed towards the Pearson's Consumer Buyer Behavior GMAP book that was published just over a year ago. I've also collaborated internationally with influencers and marketers around the world, and some of which the 7 secrets behind buzz marketing is exactly what we are doing today. Core values, my core values, my vision, mission, and philosophy. Vision on my side is being in South Africa to go global. I have got some international clients around the world. I am proudly South African, and I believe South Africa, AU, and then the rest of the world. So a lot of my focus actually goes into helping people within the African Union to improve their businesses within our continent. So I believe that's a bit of a sore lacking aspects that a lot of marketers just always go overseas. I like to keep it pretty much to our African continent, but doesn't obviously want to exclude anybody from over the ocean. My mission is I'd like to partner with my clients in a critical success thinking process. My belief is to calculate, don't speculate. And my philosophy is to thoroughly examine our clients, operations, systems, and tools, and wherever possible to infuse differentiation in technology and to capitalize on all innovation opportunities. Now, in section 1, what we're going to do is I want to run through why word of mouth is so important with marketers today. Some interesting stats that I'll share with you, and understanding the Virality framework, which is going to be key to going forward. So at the end of the day, marketing must promote brands and products and services in such a way that it will be shown to grow. Word of mouth is about developing programs and promotion without relying on paid media. Now to why word of mouth is so important. Some interesting information is approximately 65% of all people search for online reviews and information before going out and buying a product in store or online. An overwhelming 90% of people believe in brand recommendations from friends over paid marketing media. And this is pretty evident from the millennials and Gen Zs that certainly broke the mold. And I think a lot of it was in the old days when marketing was pretty transactional. Marketers from around the world were really fluffing up their features and benefits and overselling and over marketing a particular product, and a lot of people were let down. So subsequently, the generations preceding mine, for argument's sake, have all come out in their droves looking for peer-to-peer recommendation, which is now just a clever form of word of mouth. And this is for me, is what makes word of mouth so important. Some interesting stats. 86% of all millennials say user-generated content is a great indicator of a brand or service. And people are 4 times more likely to buy from a referral. And only 33% of businesses are actively seeking and collecting reviews, which is actually quite outstanding. That's what's happened to the 77% of all business out there not actively seeking and collecting reviews on the products or services. This is a gap. This is quite an industry gap going forward. And word of mouth brings in 5 times more than paid media. And 74% of consumers identify word of mouth as a critical influencer. Now, with all of these particular stats, I'm sure you can agree with me that word of mouth going forward is quite should be quite an integral part of our marketing mix. Now, understanding the Virality framework, first and foremost is social currency. Once you introduce you to a concept called social currency, and social currency is all about status by association. People want to look smart. They want to be seen as in the know. They want to be seen in positive light. They like to talk about things that help them portray themselves in a very positive image. And people want things to make them look good at the end of the day with regards to their friends and family, peer-to-peer, whether it be work or sitting around in the South African condition. A lot of business could be spoken about on the golf course or around the brine. This is the time that people pick out all these golden nuggets to portray themselves in a very, very positive manner, because we all are seeking for approval from our peers. Now, the interesting part is now to take this particular consumer buyer behavior philosophy and see how we can infuse it into our product or service. So at the end of the day is, how can we take our product or service or thing that we are trying to promote, and how do we find the inner remarkability of our particular product or service? And one of the things is to try and take our consumers and make them feel like insiders within our product or service mix. Once people start owning that and they have a look at how they can, that will be the time that will generate a lot of social currency for that particular personal group, and they will then start sharing the information. So the whole idea is, instead of taking our messages and marketing and saying we need to push out our content into the stratosphere, it's a question of rather look at how we can create and manipulate the content in a positive manner that will be well received by our intended audience at the end of the day. So basically craft content aimed at making your audience look good so they can share it. Another part is triggers. So on the trigger side, people talk about things that are top of mind. So I usually think of top of mind is tip of tongue. If it's top of mind, it's going to be on tip of tongue, and we're going to be sharing the information along the way. We need to look for subtle reminders as marketers to help our products or service or an idea be more likely to be shared. So a trigger is quite an interesting part, and you can see my Google image at the top right-hand corner. When Google started way back in the days, the old tagline of Google was just Google it. And in those days, Google had a lot of, wasn't the first search engine in place. It was probably the second or third last. And yes, today we're all using Google. One of the interesting parts is they associated looking for something on the internet to be to infuse the idea inside all consumers to say just Google it. So the minute that we were looking at going to the World Wide Web, and undoubtedly we could have used Yahoo or any of the other search engines, everybody defaulted to Google, or the majority of people, and that's why Google has got an overwhelming following of users, me included, that will be using that particular item. On a marketing level, from Trigger's side, if we can take something in the natural world that people will see, and we associate that particular item out in the natural world with what we are selling in a product or service, what happens is we are automatically triggering our consumer to think of our product at that particular point in time. If you think about cereals and fast-moving consumer good products, if for argument's sake, a orange juice is associated to obviously the fruits, and there's a lot of oranges around in the world, and people see the orange juice and are naturally associate it to a particular orange juice brand, and then they would then be saying to themselves, actually, I'm thirsty, I want to have a particular drink. So that's just an analogy, but if we can take this particular trigger philosophy and build it into everything that we do, what we are going to be doing is creating these micro little prompts along the way that people are going to want to think of our product or service and start to use our product and service more frequently because we're triggering them in the marketplace. Understanding emotion, very interesting. When we share, we care. We can see that with regards to what we are facing right now with the war in Russia. A lot of them high emotional states. A lot of people are sharing information with the rest of the world. And it's obviously a lot of the side there is to stop the war. But that is a high emotional charge. That type of information goes viral, and as soon as a video is uploaded onto the YouTube or internet or Facebook, usually have a whole lot of views because everybody's interested in seeing what's going on. The idea with emotion is then to say, how can we actually infuse a high emotional arousal, even a low emotional arousal, or a negative emotional arousal for our particular products or service, because it's going to generate a reaction. So how can we take anger, excitement, awe, and all of these items of emotion which fire up people, and how can we turn this into an activation which drives people to share the information? For argument's sake, NGOs from around the world and companies like that will be using emotion more than any other particular trigger state, so and simply because it's going to yield more of a result when it comes, because an NGO wants to create a positive emotion that you're going to want to impart and donate and belong and feel like you belong to a particular cause. If, for argument's sake, a dog pound or SPCA in South Africa, that's what we call the dog pounds, but if, for argument's sake, a dog pound, you've got a picture there on the top right-hand corner of all the dogs sitting behind a cage, and the dog pound says we've got to euthanize these animals because we just don't have enough space at the moment. I guarantee you it's going to create a high emotional arousal within the particular community, and a lot of the time the moms and the dads and people and the family members will go to the ends of the earth to find homes for those particular dogs in order for them not to be euthanized. Another radical type of example, but that just shows you how emotion can be used in a way to promote a particular product or service. So instead of looking at the negatives, how can we take this particular emotion in a positive manner and actually infuse it into our particular products on a day-to-day life? So for argument's sake, it could be a product, a health product. So a health product will make you feel good, it will make you feel energized. How can you take those particular emotions and start to infuse that into their day-to-day marketing mix? And public. Built to show, built to grow. People often imitate others, but so at the end of the day, it's a lovely consumer buyer behavior, monkey see, monkey do. You'd see on the top right-hand corner the Apple logo on a computer. Before this particular item or this kind of methodology was really thought of from a consumer buyer behavior perspective, I guarantee that the tech guys by accident defaulted onto this particular aspect, and they ran with it. The classic scenario of all laptops, the biggest branding on a laptop is actually on the reverse side of the user, which some people will say, well, what kind of sense does it make? But the perfect sense is that for argument's sake, if I'm using an Apple or a Dell or a Lenovo, whatever brand of a computer that you're showing from the outside, it's not just that you're using that particular computer. Consumers connect with other like-minded consumers they see in the world. And if you're in a coffee shop and you're seeing other people, possibly consultants or people similar to yourself that you associate yourself with using a particular brand, and this you see happening all the time, when it comes up to the time that you need to replace your own tech brand, or in this particular instance, a laptop brand, you will probably automatically recall the brand that you most see people connect, that you connect with using this particular brand. This is probably one of the reasons why Apple has done so well over a period of time, not taking away that they've got a fantastic product. It's the whole idea is that more people started using this particular product, more people started connecting with these people using this particular product, irrespective of the price of the product. They looked at it and said, I also want one of these particular products. So a lot of it becomes built to show. You build the product that you want to be shown, and that's ultimately you're going to be building the product to be grown, which is really, really great going forward. Practical value. This is all about news you can use. People share things that will help other people, whether it is advice or saving time, saving money, or making them healthier, for argument's sake. Useful things get shared. So package your knowledge and your expertise in a way that people can pass it on. In the inbound marketing realm, if you do a lot of digital marketing and inbound marketing, this particular practical value will come through from ebooks and all of these little tasks that you would end up using. So if you can take, for argument's sake, a practical, so if you are let's say a contractor, and you're dealing with a lot of measuring of items, if the company creates a measuring tape, for argument's sake, that's built and it's got certain functions, you're going to be using that on a regular basis. You will probably even pass it on going forward. If you've got a lot of ebook health information, or if it's a benefits of your particular health product, people will generally pass it on. That's why a lot of the time, quick understanding, whoops, I've jumped one. Okay, understanding stories. For years and years and years, human species have been storytellers around the campfires and around since time has begun. A lot of our history has been passed down through the generations through a lot of stories. So if we look at the story aspect and we say, how can we use a story as a Trojan horse to pass on the information, but our branding goes along for the ride? So a story would be fantastic if you're looking at health messages, or if let's stick on the health message side. If we can create a story around a health message, that particular story will be told, and your branding will go along for the actual ride itself. So stories are like Trojan horses. Information travels under the guise of an idle chatter. People are more likely to share memorable story than a list of technical facts and features about a particular product. That's inheritance to what we are as a human species. So we can start tapping into that and creating a particular story around something that we want to pass on to others. That particular story will be shared and reshared and reshared, and along the way, if we can cleverly take our branding and core purpose and put that into it, that's viral marketing at its best, and that information will get passed on. So build a story that people want to tell, which carries your idea for along the ride. In our section 2, defining, what we're going to do now is define the big idea, define your goals, evaluate your idea. So if you've got your idea and you've got your products and service, whatever you want to do, this particular philosophy we can start to put in to anything we really want to market. So it is not, you can use this for any particular product or service or a particular health and safety message. You can use it to promote an event or anything like stock and barrel. So let's say we take the 6 steps that we've got as a new methodology for creating viral content. And now what we're going to do is, one of the easiest ways to actually start using these 6 steps is we're going to take your particular idea, and some interesting tips is I'm going to ask you to write down that particular idea. So you just take a piece of paper, write down your idea, no matter what it is. Step 2, what we need to do is, once we've got the idea written down, we have to look at what kind of message do we really want to spread. Now, how are we going to use social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical value in the stories, and how can we infuse it into that particular message? On the step 3 is, now take a few minutes. This is something very interesting. When I've sat around and you go through these marketing meetings to put up your services and say, hi, I'm Dylan Miller, this is what I've got to tell the rest of the world, and you spend a lot of time pinning down the exact message that you want to do, and you think everybody's going to get the message. 9 out of 10 times you sit down, the person next to you turns around and says, sorry, what do you actually do again? Trust me, take a few steps, take a few minutes, take what you've got, keep it short, and explain to somebody next to you, whether it be a co-worker or a colleague or somebody, and tell them what you want to do, and then ask them to repeat back to you. And that particular repeat coming back will be the classic encoding and decoding the message. You can see what you're going to be pushing out versus what people actually hear. Is that the kind of message that you want? If that's not the case, you're going to do a lot of work to do before actually sending out that particular message in the stratosphere. And then step 4 is obviously just evaluate if your message makes sense, and if not, this is the time you have to look at where the communication breakdown really is at the end of the day. Next, on defining your goals, you have to look at your objectives. Why do you want to get the people to talk a bit about this particular thing that you want to do? What is the ultimate objective of people spreading this particular message? And then if you're looking at step 2, spreading the messages, why do you want so why do you want people to talk about it? Step 3 is consider the impact of word of mouth on your products or idea. What happens if people talk about it too much, or what happens if people don't talk about it at all? And then just take a note to write all of those down. Next, pulling the right levers. One of the easiest ways that I use this particular methodology is when you take the social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical value in the stories that we've gone through, and we have a look at a grading system of 1 to 10. So make a graph, put that next to each other, and say, for your particular product or service or campaign or launch or product launch or service launch or whatever it is, and have a look at which social currency or triggers or emotion or public or practical value or a story does it really lend well to what you want to do. You might just find not every particular product or service is going to be going for all of them. For argument's sake, an NGO, for argument's sake, will go use triggers and emotion more than anything else. If you've got a physical product, public and practical value would be the items that would really go well. For inbound marketing, it's always been stories and practical value and triggers that do very, very well. Social currency is going to be the true word of mouth. So that's over there could be a very good service, or it could be a very good referral going forward. So what we do is we take a grading and you grade from 1 to 10, and what's the likelihood that your particular product or service or thing that you're going to be promoting, what is it actually leading towards, more so than the others. And then looking at which levers to pull, is if you recall your goals and you look at your virality analysis, and you look at which elements of the framework do you think will make sense given your audience, and why would it actually make sense going forward. So obviously, if it's digital and you're looking at a lot of inbound marketing, practical value will come through, the emotion will come through in that particular story, and that will be the tone of voice that you're actually writing down. So you can get quite clever with this methodology, or can be as very simple as sending out a Facebook post, for argument's sake, and shock and awe, and getting that particular response for people to actually do something. Once you have a look at all of these levers, you have a look at a go-to-market plan. Now it's a case of, do all of these levers need to be pulled at the same time, or can you do a bit of a staggered pull, or is it going to be a phased-in approach? And you can have a look at what content goes into what particular item. So triggers, for argument's sake, you will then infuse in everything across the board as a blanket umbrella. So that trigger is going to be mostly associated to your branding triggers at the end of the day. Social currency is coming up with that particular content and the nugget that people go, you almost want to, social currency is if you can get your product or brand to disclose a secret. People love to disclose, and they can't keep a secret at the end of the day. So they believe they've got a good high social currency of something that's almost like a secret. They're going to want to regurgitate it best and tell as many people as they can, because it makes them look good. So how can you take your particular product or service and infuse the social currency? Is it going to be a 1 to 10 scale item? And what kind of content that you can use within your arsenal that can be used for that particular item at the end of the day? And public could be it's anything to do with tech, computers or physical products. This is a time when we take augmented reality and we look at infusing that with a physical product in a physical realm to get recognition and people talking about it. So this methodology of what we're using is really going to be, there's no limit to it other than our creativity and ingenuity that we've got going for us. And now we go on to section 4 and just injecting the elements. What we want to do is we want to work out what our top priorities are going to be. 3 to 5 top priorities that you want to implement, and you write them down. And then the second important aspect is how we're going to implement these top priorities. And then section and number 3 is we need to really check it. Now that you've injected the methodology, does this still meet the original goal? why or why not. This is a good double check system to make sure that what the ultimate goal that you've originally written down on, what is it still meeting that particular goal going forward. Now then, what we do after this is evaluating the idea. So once everything's reformulated, once you've got everything actually working and you're just about to go launch, we're going to ask yourself is, what is still lacking out of it? Is this going to be the most viral your message or thing or product or service or campaign will ever be? So grade on how to reformulate your idea and how it stands out in the various different elements that we've spoken about, being social currency triggers, practical value, emotion, and so on. And then what we look at is understanding what is strong and weak, and how will this, how can you actually improve going forward? So this will be the final check on before you actually go launch and push the button. It's not going to be a case of just double check and make sure that your phased-in approach of aspects that you're going to be using is going to be 100% right. And this is going to be one of the final steps that you're going to get going. What I like to do is do a bit of a test. So digital marketing, love A/B testing. This is no different. So if you can take a small focus group or a small group of customers, or a representative sample of what you want to do, and you can test it and get that feedback going forward first. Once you got that, you can then see from a pilot test, where is everything 100% right, or is it a couple of things that needs to still be polished? And then this is your time to polish. If everything's good to go, you can go, let's go. And then that's it to get going. After that, we've gone through the virality of the 6 steps, and I've shown you how to actually get it done. Just in case you guys want to get some additional inputs and help, I do offer viral marketing strategy. This is using the virality isn't born, it's made. With this, I've created an entire workshop flow process that can be done virtually or in person. This is going to be for anybody, an entrepreneur, anybody starting up a business, looking for a direction, marketers that are having budget constraints that need an extra boost. This could also be for marketers looking at testing a particular campaign on its virality, catchiness, if you like to call it. The nice thing about this is, if you create something that's built from the foundation going up, once it hits the stratosphere, you are not going to be relying on paid marketing and a marketing budget to have it out in front of your clients. This is the kind of thing that will organically be pulling traction, and your customers will be, and your stakeholders of people interested in your particular product will actually ultimately be sharing this particular product or service on behalf of you for a very extended period of time. And if you get that particular momentum going forward, there's no end to how the success of your particular product, service, or business or brand is going to ever be. So there's a lot of uses for this, and I challenge everybody in how we can actually take this particular methodology and infuse it in our particular strategic marketing plans and get it going. And if you guys want additional help, so we can do a one-on-one workshop. I guarantee you that we'll have about 18 actionable marketing tasks to execute, a minimum thereof. And we will cover anything from traditional to digital marketing aspects. It's highly flexible. We can use this for a referral marketing strategy, or a safety message or supercharger marketing campaign going forward. Now, that's it on my side. If there's any doubts, I'd love to hear from you. Please stay in touch. And if I could be of any help and assistance going forward, you can reach out. So if there's any questions, let me know if there are any questions going forward. And if you'd like to connect, you can go and connect with me via Strategize, www.strategize.co.za. My name again, Dylan Miller, and I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn or on email, and let's see how we can generate a new type of virility and how we can create virility. And just remember, virility isn't born, it is made. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Craig, from all the way from the UK, and Charmaine, thank you very much. If you have any questions, is everything good? Fantastic. We'll get together. Send me an email, and thank you very much for your kind comments. And I am sure that once you execute the information, your product will have a new level of success going forward. Thank you, guys, and thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you.